Hello, everybody. Hello, happy Wednesday. How y'all doing? Yo, hello, random. How are you doing today? Happy Wednesday, everybody. AKA Woden's Day. Ingle Dingle Dargan and all that good shit. It's warming up! By God. The snow is melting and immediately freezing into ice. We're going to ignore that. But it's melting right now. Yo, hello, Snurf. How are you today? Yeah, we are gathered here today to do something I should have done earlier this month. Gonna make a tier list of all of the streams from last year. Is it really Wednesday? It really is Wednesday, my dudes. Could be better. Yeah. Hopefully, it becomes better soon. At least it's minorly warmer, at least where I am. I don't know if it is where you are. But yeah, this is going to include not only the streams from YouTube, but also the streams from Twitch before I moved back over to YouTube. Life is becoming boring. We gotta find something to spice it up. Such is the cost of getting older. Seek novelty. So I have 43 different games to rate. These are the games that I streamed last year. And we are going to rate them by how good the game was. Yes. But mostly how much fun I feel like the stream was. How entertaining the stream was. How much fun I personally had streaming the game. How much fun I think people had watching. Stuff like that. Dietary boredom because I've gone seek novelty and one is dirt broke. Well, that's true. Not a lot of food that's affordable. Your number 2 is the Kingdom Cry for your immediate A tier. Hell yeah! So we'll be using Tier Maker for this. I made a little single-use tier list for this. Stream will probably be pretty short. Not that I can afford food, it's that I can't eat food. Ah. Damn. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, this shouldn't take very long. So after we finish this, I'll end stream probably for like 15 minutes, and then come back and finish Red Faction Armageddon. Apparently that game is shorter than I thought. So we could probably we should be able to finish it up in one more go. So, such being the case, let's swap over to the lo-fi video game soundtrack. My stomach is messed up. Yeah, I've known people like that before. It is pretty rough. 3 major disorders causing my diet to be extremely small. I'm guessing they limit you stuff that you can't really experiment with. Yeah, that sucks, man. Yeah! Drum roll! Ow, my knuckles! All of the games from last year. In alphabetical order, probably. It kept shifting it around while I was scrolling, while I was working on it. But here we have S, the best. A, pretty good. B, okay. C, meh. D, for don't bother watching it. We're gonna sort these 43 into them. These are the logos that I use on the thumbnails for all of the games. So, let's start with the obvious. Tears of the Kingdom. The fucking best, by far. The best thing I streamed last year. Possibly the best thing the best streams I've ever had. It was amazing. Loved that game. Loved streaming that game. God, I wish I didn't have to chop up the streams at that point. Wish I'd figured out that my internet was being throttled by a bad cord. The world of Tears of the Kingdom is incredibly fun to explore. The powers allow for extreme goofiness. The combats is surprisingly engaging with certain enemies. Like the Ganon boss fight from Ganondorf to Demon Dragon is probably the most sustained level of hype I've experienced in a video game ever. Amazing. All right, let's grab Cry of Fear. This is stretched across several different runs because we had my under 2.5 hour run. There was to get the camera, my first attempt at Nightmare, and my second attempt at Nightmare. I think altogether, probably S, lower than Tears of the Kingdom. Those Cry of Fear streams were like, is sharing a game that you love and having that good of a reaction to it was honestly an amazing feeling. Because it was supposed to be something that I streamed as like a comfort game when I was like deliriously like exhausted with a headache, and everyone showed up and had a great time, and it was amazing. Now, let's start going alphabetical. Anna. Oh God. Anna, the puzzle game from the puzzle horror game from October, had such a good concept and surprisingly good music, but holy shit, the puzzles are stonewall. Just nearly impossible to figure out. Mechanics that aren't explained to you, like that you can combine the hints that you could get. The game never tells you that. And you need that in order to beat it. So I'd say it's not unwatchable, but it is pretty meh. That's definite C. Black Rose. This is a game that I played back in like 2020, maybe 2021. I get those years kind of rolled up together. That I never finished because I got lost because because of there was like a hidden door that it was fun to come back to. It wasn't as fun replaying it as I feel like it was to play it the first time. I feel like if I had completed it the first time, I would have had a much better opinion of the game. But as it stands, also pretty meh. Better than Anna, but still pretty meh. But I think it's free, so you know, can't be that judgmental. Condemned Criminal Origins, one of the first games that I didn't cut up. When I came back to YouTube, I didn't chop it up. I left the stream up raw, bad quality and all. This game's kind of like a cult classic that I remember reading about a lot in Game Informer. And I had a really weird idea of what the game was supposed to be. Game got me into Discord. The game that spread the corruption to yet another. But I feel like my energy level during Condemned was pretty low. So while the game is okay, like it's a good game, I feel like I didn't do a pretty good job, like a good job of, you know, streaming it. So I'd say it's okay. It's not meh. Like, I wouldn't not recommend it, but, Dead Space 2. Widely considered to be the best Dead Space game. And I can definitely feel the improvement over 1. Mechanically, it felt a lot smoother. The environments were a bit more fun. And some of the enemies were really interesting, like the bomb baby. But once again, I feel like this was, it was a downtime for me. So I'd put it in the okay, bomb baby. Yeah, Dead Space 2 has babies full of explosive pus that blow up if they get too close to you. Welcome to Dead Space, it's fucked up. Devil May Cry 1. I should have been the one to fill your dark soul with light! Mechanically, Devil May Cry 1, in comparison to modern games, I'm not saying it was for the time, fucking blows. That game, so much of it is just not viable. Like, if you're not using the shotgun to get through everything, you're playing the game wrong. The narrative is non-existent. The voice acting is so bad, it's amazing. The world, like the environments are kind of whatever, it's very Resident Evil-y. But I had so much goddamn fun. It was just so much fun to play Devil May Cry 1. Gotta love the shitty voice acting. It's classic for a reason. I thought it was amazing. So it'll go in A tier. Devil May Cry 2, however, mechanically not much better. The enemies became far more flat. Dante doesn't really exist as a character. Like he's not real in that game. Like you could put a mask on the guy and have him never talk and you wouldn't tell the difference. Dante doesn't really matter. But the jankiness of the game was incredibly enjoyable. And I feel like laughing at all of the bullshit in this game was a lot of the charm. So it's not A tier, but I'd say it belongs in B. Now, Devil May Cry 3. Basically, the only Devil May Cry game I had played before I started streaming them. I technically touched 4, but like I got to the first boss and that was as far as I got. But Devil May Cry 3. The bosses are, for the most part, very good. Leviathan sucked ass. The horse, whatever. But Nilvan, the electric vampire, Virgil, all three times you fight Virgil. The fights with the Jester, Agni and Rudra, the boss fights were amazing. Dante as a character is so much more present in this, and it kind of solidifies who he's going to be in the series going forward. What a name, Virgil. Yeah, it's Dante and Virgil. In a game about killing demons, it's Paradise Lost. Mechanically, it's still a little bit stiff. 4 definitely opens up a lot of what I didn't like about the mechanics in 3, namely that the stances don't really exist. You pick one and you play it for the whole level, so you never really get to experiment on the fly. So basically, you pick the playstyle you like and you're stuck with it. You can never switch. 4 changes that, but we'll get to that. But introducing the actual combos, and like the ability to upgrade combos, all of the different weapons, give you a lot of variety in gameplay. And swapping between the weapons in mid-combo is very fun. Like I wound up using Beowulf a lot. So I'd say probably maybe even the lowest S tier. That game was a lot of fun, and the story was wild. Devil May Cry 4. That was during November, an off month. I didn't feel very good for like that entire month. And Devil May Cry 4 was basically the highlight of it. Mechanically, I feel like it's a lot better than 3. When you get to Dante and you're able to switch between the different styles, it makes it a lot more fun. I don't think you were there for 1. You missed most of November. But also, Nero is very fun to play as. Because Nero has only one style, he has his sword. But it is very technically dense. There's a lot of combos he can do with that one weapon. So even Nero is a lot of fun. The voice acting and like the story and all that, very goofy. I like the part where it just kind of gives up and turns itself into a like a Shakespearean play for a cutscene. The music is awesome. The major downside to 4 is the second half of the game, where you play as Dante. It's just the first half of the game backwards. No new levels. Not even really any new enemies. You just fight the same bosses, but like a little bit harder in reverse. So I'd say, all that combined, I'd say this is a high B tier game. High B tier stream. I think I found this channel mid to late December. I think you showed up while I was playing Morrowind, if I'm not mistaken. Next, Dream of the Blood Moon. Probably my most obscure, one of the most obscure horror games I've played. This was big back in like 2012, 2013. Post Slender. Damn you, keyboard. True. This game scared the absolute shit out of me. It's not even that scary of a game, but it stressed me out to the point where I was straight up crying on stream. Crying and nervous laughing while running through the mist with his duck-billed Slender lady chasing after me. Really? Yeah. I think I made a short of it. It was like Dream of the Blood Moon is an okay game. It's old. But that stream was so much fun. Because it's such a simple game, I'll put it in high A tier. And then I was so glad I gave that game another shot. Never been this scared of a game. I don't know why. Everybody has their own. I used to be incredibly vulnerable to scary things. I used to be afraid of the Resident Evil movies when I was young. First time you tried to stream and your internet died. Yeah. No, wait, the internet didn't die. I couldn't capture it. There was a lot of bullshit because I had to play it on my laptop and use a capture card to stream it through my PC. And for some reason, that game in full screen, or any game in full screen, like actual full screen, killed my capture card's ability to pick up audio. Used to have and slightly do have a fear of microwave ovens trauma. It do be like that. If it makes you feel any better, I'm afraid of mirrors because of a movie trailer. Next, Dwarf Fortress. Another game that I streamed before coming back to YouTube. Dwarf Fortress has long been a favorite game of mine. It is one of the most famously complex games ever. If you know RimWorld, Dwarf Fortress inspired RimWorld. Individual, like, fingers are all modeled. Like, wetness of a surface is recorded. The organs inside your body all are recorded, and each can be damaged independently. The amount of complexity in this game is bonkers, especially when it comes to the combat system, because the game was originally built as like a gladiator game, and they kept that as they went into the world building. I think this year I mainly played mods. Dwarvamon, where you like build a fortress out of Pokemon, and The Long Night, which turns it into this fucked up dark sci-fi game. the Dwarfamon stream. The first one, I believe, was very interesting because it turned into me desperately trying to stop the entire world from burning down, and that's the phone ringing, so I gotta mute. All right, I'm back. Yeah, a single Scorchipede walked onto my map for a split second and set the entire map on fire. And it was me desperately trying to save my base. It was very fun. However, it's only on Aliulo VODs. And the game itself, or the quality of the streams, is whatever. So while I think it's entertaining, I would say you can give it a miss. You won't miss anything for not watching it. Now, best game I ever fucking played. Antarctica 88. AKA 88 Antarctica. I don't know why it's like that in the logo. The game is called Antarctica 88. This game is so fucking jank. It is the pinnacle of trashy horror games. Acid flipped monsters. I mean, the third tier monster. There's like 3 tiers of monster. You got the spider, the walking guy, and you have the third tier monster, which is just a Demogorgon. It is very bad mechanically. Like, very hard to control, especially the driving controls. This was made by the same person that made Horror Tale. They made it years before. I thought that they made it after, but it turns out they actually made it years before Horror Tale. And I think in Horror Tale 1, I think they actually made fun of the driving mechanics. With the car. I think they actually made fun of it. Because the driving mechanics in Antarctica 88 are awful. Like, to the point where the front page clip that I've had on my channel since then has been me driving off a cliff, going like, well, it's a good thing I saved, because almost certainly I'm about to die. And then I immediately drive off the edge because of the controls. So this game is awful, but I had a great time playing it. So surprisingly, despite the game being shit, I'll put it in A tier. It was so much fun. Enter the Back Rooms. These streams on the re-upload, because I was still chopping it up and re-uploading at the time, did really well. Like, I think the first one got like 130 views, which doesn't seem like a lot, but for a baby streamer like myself is fantastic. Said I can't remember much of this game, but it was really fun to watch. It was so fun. Enter the Back Rooms started out really, really good, but my problem is that it gets really repetitive. Like, at a certain point, by like level 3, you don't really get new monsters. You just get them in greater and greater quantities, and it just winds up with you moving faster and faster through levels. You don't really get to enjoy the back rooms because you spend almost literally all of your time sprinting, trying to find the exit. I think the game is good to a certain point. And because of that, I think it belongs in C tier. Better than Anna, maybe even better than Black Rose, but it was pretty meh. But I still enjoyed it. Now, Fear and Hunger 1. This game kicked my ass so hard. I had to abandon an entire run. If I recall, you got me into that game. I believe I did because you started, like I started that stream and you were like, I have no idea what this is. And then by stream 2, you knew more about it than I did. Yeah, Fear and Hunger 1 kicked my ass. Probably one of the most outstanding games in that genre. It occupies like 4 genres at once. It's weird. You did take a long break from that game. Yeah, I took a few weeks because I was transferring over to the not deleting my streams anymore. But the game is held back by how much of it is currently broken. There's just a lot of things that should work, that used to work, that the last update broke and have not been fixed. But the tone of Fear and Hunger is almost unmatched or surpassed. While I spent a lot of the time in low energy mode, because that game takes a lot of like processing power to be able to play, I still think it belongs in A tier. There's 2 types of broke, and holy shit, there's a flying corpse wigging out broken. Fear and Hunger is there's mechanics that just straight up don't work type of broke. Fear and Hunger 2, in my opinion, a solid upgrade from 1 in literally every aspect. The music is better. The art is improved. The mechanics are better. It's not as broken. It's still broken, don't get me wrong. Enemies and characters just sometimes don't show up. There is an ability that literally does nothing. But the environment, the narrative, the gameplay, and the atmosphere of Fear and Hunger Termina, probably my fondest RPG of last year. I don't consider Zelda an RPG. I think Termina goes into an S. There are multiple abilities that do nothing. Well, greater meditation literally does nothing. I think it actually undoes meditation, if I recall correctly. Like, it's bad. I think Fear and Hunger deserves an S. Maybe even above Devil May Cry 3. Final Fantasy XIV Hardcore. This was a little thing I decided to do because I was having a bit of like a MMO fixation in December. And I was like, I want to play all these hardcore games. Like hardcore MMO. Like permadeath. See how far you can get in an MMO. But we're going to do it in a linear single player fashion. Holy shit. Was it a slog? That game was fun as kind of like a hangout and chat game. But other than that, just running from objective to objective, skipping all of the story, which is like the main thing you play Final Fantasy game for. Well, I had a lot of fun. Not a lot of people, I had some fun. Not a lot of people were interested. Rest in peace, Ligard. You will be missed. You died in a ditch. It's not really worth watching. Maybe next time. Half-Life Blue Shift. One of the 2 side Half-Life games I played. This is the one where you play as the cop, Barney, the security guard. And you go through Black Mesa, you do what all he does. You end up jumping to Zen for a little bit. I really liked Blue Shift. I feel like it flowed pretty easily from section to section. For the most part, there was a little bit of bullshit with I think one of the puzzles I had problems with. But the most part, it was pretty fun. I'd say it goes in a B. Because while it was fun, it was nothing outstanding. Opposing Force, however, was okay. There were some funny bits, like with all of the guys charging in through a blown open door, or like the guy charging through a blown open door and just hearing all the gunfire on the other end. It's like, yeah, I bet he's okay. But other than that, it was pretty meh. Halls of Torment, the first Bullet Heaven Bullet Heaven game that I've played. Bullet Survivor, Vampire Survivor-like, that I've streamed. I love these types of games. I play a lot of them. This is the only one I've streamed. I might stream more in the future. But I'm pretty sure this game deleted my bitrate. Like I don't think this game was viewable on the bitrate that I was at with the amount of shit on screen. Like, these types of games destroy streams on good setups. I can only imagine how it looked on a sub 2K bitrate. I'm gonna put this in D tier because I don't think it was watchable. Who ate all the donuts? It was me, Barry. When all of your donuts disappeared, it was me. Fun to watch, though. Yeah, it was fun to watch. I would not go back and rewatch it, though. Heavy Rain. Not the first game, but the game that put them on the map. Quantic Dream. Led by the illustrious and very problematic David Cage. This game spawned an entire generation of memes. memes, parodies, sketches, they were all over the place. Back in the day, they were in every game, like game-related television show. Everyone would meme about it in their videos. I don't want to disrespect the people that like it, but the narrative for that game is kind of like dollar store Saw. It's like someone walked into a Dollar Tree and they bought that version, that store's generic version of Saw. I'd say high C. Not awful, but you probably won't be missing anything if you skip it. Call-Out! Another old-ish horror game that I personally really like. I love the jokes. Oh yeah, making fun of Heavy Rain is the best way, the best point of playing Heavy Rain. It's the point of playing Quantic Dream games in general. You want to play Beyond Two Souls and Detroit Become Human and not make fun of it? But a lot of Heavy Rain was just kind of sitting through dialogue. A lot of it was very quiet. Some outstanding jokes, but a lot of it was kind of whatever. Call-Out, however, I feel like this stream, like the experience of this suffers because the first hour long stream I did is dead on arrival. I could barely talk. I couldn't emote at all. And it was so flat. It felt like being a 10 subscriber YouTuber again and making a video in my college dorm. That's the kind of experience I had playing Call-Out again. I think it is a very good game, but those streams were boring. The first one ruined the second one because I had that energy going through the rest of the game. And it was just not fun. There's a reason why I rushed to the end to play that game all in one. Actually, I remember actually trying on my YouTube channel, Call-Out. I have since given up. I'm sorry to hear that. Well, I hope you had fun while you were there. I'll put Call-Out in D tier, because I feel like those streams were just straight up boring. Craven Manor. Short little horror game. Was not for me. Yeah, it's not for everybody. Craven Manor was a big deal when it came out. All the big YouTubers played it. Yada, yada, yada. Now no one knows what it is. I suck at talking IRL. Same. I get told sometimes that I'm charismatic. You're so personable. You're charismatic. It's like, have you ever talked to me in real life? No? I thought not. Because I don't talk in real life. I don't talk. I sit there awkwardly and listen to people talk. Craven Manor is a very simple game now. It's firmly okay. Talk for ages online in person. Nope. Yeah. The only reason I'm as quote-unquote talkative, personable, quote now is because I've been doing this for 7 years. I've been on YouTube since 2017. I'd hope I'm at least a little bit competent at this point. Craven Manor was fun, but it wasn't, it was all right. Limbo! Classic game! Back when the indie scene started popping off, Limbo was one of those games. It was Limbo, Braid, Fez, Castle Crashers. Those were the only things anybody talked about. The king of platformers. I will say with a certainty, though, that having played the game before streaming it, I feel like the stream was a little whatever. It was good, but it wasn't like very entertaining. The game itself, very fun. Going with Chuck, trying to not die to the worms, getting eaten by the spider again and again and again. Good time. So I think this belongs in a low B. Now, Luna. The only, well, one of two, I guess, RPG Maker games that I played last year. The worms, they come for you from the skies, and they force you to drown yourself like 30 times in a row. It was pretty rough. Luna is a very small game. Not incredibly innovative. Not really at all in the genre that it's in. But I'd say it's a solid RPG horror game. However, what makes that game stand out, though, is the Bomberman-esque, like, raccoon dog minigame. Trying to grab all the chip bags. I had way too much fun playing that dumb little minigame with the green background. And that alone bumps Luna up to a B from a C. Because that was just so funny. I actually have a lot of RPG horror games on my playlist. The birthday song was complete BS. I'm proud of myself that I figured that out to begin with. That I figured out that was a thing. I'm not mad that I got it wrong. I'm happy that I even figured out that that was supposed to be what you were supposed to do. Yeah, the hidden endings were a little too much. To be fair, a lot of indie Japanese games are like that. Now, Morrowind. We played for the first time, I beat the actual game. Before I streamed it, I hadn't beaten anything. I hadn't beaten any of it. I hadn't even beaten the DLC. I'd never beaten a faction quest, like a faction quest line. I'd never done the main quest to completion. Furthest I ever got, I think, was to the Zainab camp. Damn, they got me into this channel. Yeah. But I streamed it earlier in the year, too. I streamed it in August. I feel like the revival, coming back to the stream to do like the Mages Guild quests, I feel like those would be like a C. But the original streams I did going through the base game and the DLC to do the main quests, I feel like we're an A. The base game Morrowind streams in August were so much fun. and people were really into it. Earlier streams and watching before I knew you were actively streaming it. You probably picked them up not long before I actually started, before I started streaming it again. I'll go back to that someday. I'd like to play some other long form games. And like I said, I think I'll limit my returns to like base game factions because Tamriel Rebuilt is huge. So like if I go back to do like Imperial Legion, I'll stay in the Legion in Vardenfell. I'm enjoying my time here. I am glad you're enjoying your time here. I'm glad to have you here. I'm always happy when people find enjoyment in what I'm doing. Nightmare of Decay. This game parodies like every horror game. And even Monty Python at one point. I feel like this game started off really strong, but the second half of the game really slowed down. Once you hit the sewers, I feel like it slows down a lot. So the start of the game is pretty good, but the rest of it is a pretty strong whatever. Hard to find things like this nowadays. This stream? There's a surprising amount of them. It's just hard to find us. We are all buried around. We're an old breed back here. Next, no delivery. I am pretty sure this was by request from random. We played this in October. I feel so bad about this one. Don't, because the game is unironically really good. It's just a shame I did backseat this game a bit. It's fine. I've watched two people play the game to completion. You can't backseat me when I already know what's going to happen. Back when I was doing just strictly SCP readings, I gave up on not watching people play video games that came out, and I watched everybody play this game. I already knew everything that was going to happen. So don't feel bad. Don't feel bad about backseating anyway. If it gets to be a problem, I'll say like, hey, please chill. Otherwise, I'll just ignore you. Like I did playing Half-Life. And Wondo and Beta Fan were desperately trying to get me to do a thing. And I just didn't acknowledge it. And it's just, I think it was Half-Life Opposing Force. I just ignored it. And it made them madder and madder and madder, and it was hilarious. They were like screaming at me. It was so funny. Games recommendations would be hit or miss. Any game I could recommend would be awful. Some of the games that I would recommend would be absolute shit. You know, you go back to the original Xbox, what games am I going to tell you to play? Nightcaster and New Legends. Those games suck. And I'd tell you to play them. My name's Jacksepticeye. I thought it was Markiplier. Hello, Beta Fan. We were talking about how you and Wondo got really, really mad at me during Half-Life Opposing Force because I ignored you guys' backseating. Because I thought it was funny. How you doing today? But no delivery. The game is really solid. I feel like as far as turn-based RPGs go, it has a really solid base mechanically. Doing good. That's good to hear. The story that it's trying to tell is interesting. I'm lacking context because it's continuation of a game that they did before, like Five Nights at the, like One Night, Five Nights at the Stees or something like that. However, I understand why they did it, but getting rid of the music in that game kills a lot of the atmosphere. That game is so quiet, except for like one song in the arcade. Still mad you didn't hold E on the medic. Hell yeah. I wouldn't say that the music made no delivery, but the lack of music really kind of makes the game feel a bit flat. Because you're listening to white noise the entire time. So I'd say that places it at the top of Z. A really good game that they desperately need to get some new music for. I understand why they took it out, but they desperately need to get new music, because that ruined the atmosphere. The only games I played enough to recommend are either survival builder games like Scrap Mechanic or Perfect Apocalypse. Neither are worth streaming. I just got done playing Planet Crafter. I've played Subnautica. You think I'm afraid of survival builder games? Shame the music was removed. Yeah. I understand why they did it, but still. Speaking of survival builder games, Planet Crafter. While we finished it this month, we technically started it in December. However, we'll just be judging the first 2 streams of that game, because that's all we did. And you got my recommendations, and I will write those down. Scrap Mechanic and Perfect Apocalypse. I will take a look at those. Remember the Planet Crafter streams? Yeah, as that game went on, it got more and more entertaining. The first couple streams are okay. The list grows. I have 100 games on my watch list. But the first 2 streams of this game were pretty low energy and low note. They were relaxing, but not too worth going back to. It's like it'll be a bit then. The list jumps around all the time. It's not in order. I haven't sat through 70% of the streams listed. Oh, here we go. Red Faction! You're dead, miner! Red Faction 1. One of my childhood games. Literally, little baby Alan. I was like 9 or 10 or whatever. This game came out in like, what, 2004? Would have been like 11. I still feel like the first level of that game was completely different from what I remember. But that's fine. This game really does feel like it was made in the early 2000s. It is so old. However, it does get a Medal of Honor for being the origin of the sound effect. Yeah, let's go find it. This sound effect, I guarantee you've heard it before. And this one And just like that, my stream has been copyright claimed, by the way. Those sound effects are copyright claimed. Red Faction 1 is where those come from. I didn't know that. That was so fucking funny. Those are in everything. You serious? Yes. Those are on the official Red Faction 1, like, OST. They're in the game. So while the game overall is pretty okay, it's not very balanced. The last half of the game is you trying to not insta-die because everyone has, like, single shotguns. We'll see that come back in just a bit. That one sound effect bumps that game up. Goes on your Twitch as a bits thing. I think one entire stream would irritate you. It's a bit, oh, like as a sound thing? All the sound effects that you can do over on Twitch are free. I don't know if that's still connected. I don't know if you could actually activate those. I do that for free. I think it'd be funny. However, Red Faction 2. Carrying on in Devil May Cry's footsteps, they both follow a very similar pattern for the first 3 games. Red Faction and Devil May Cry. Aged classics, redefined a genre. The people love them, but they're very crusty. Devil May Cry 2 and Red Faction 2, universally considered to be awful. Now, I don't think they're awful games. I actually quite liked 2. I thought it was okay. Red Faction 2, however, stripped away almost everything from 1 that made it incredible. It got rid of almost all of the environmental construction, like destruction abilities. It kind of goofed up the underwater section. Like, the underwater was not as fun. And the final boss fucking sucked against the commander. That boss fight was so bad that it made me retroactively dislike the rest of the game. I think Red Faction 2 is a high D tier. Do not bother watching it. That game is bad. Accidentally played a non piano. My puppy looked at me concerned. That is adorable. God, I love puppies. Now, Red Faction Gorilla. I played this back when it launched on the 360. It was my obsession for about a month. She's mean. Aw. Still cute, though. When most people think Red Faction, this is the game they think of. Most people who think of Red Faction played this game on the original 360. I think it is probably the best adaptation into third person they could have done. It preserves most, I guess I should say, reintroduces most of the environmental destruction. You can't blow up like cliffs or anything, but the amount of destruction you can do to cities is incredible. And it makes combat very dynamic, because it's not going from hallway to hallway. It's busting through a fucking wall. So you can flank the dude by dropping through a hole in the next room and rocket jumping up through the floor behind him. to send them flying through a window with a slam of your mallet. Now, unfortunately, while I had a lot of fun playing it, I do not think it was very entertaining to watch. I feel like those streams, for the most part, were pretty mediocre. Also, the game took a long time, which I think also contributed to that. So I will put this at a high C. Fantastic game. I don't think I did a good job portraying it. 7 Days to Die. Specifically, an old alpha version of the game. Old 7 Days to Die. Like, it didn't even have the snow area yet. That's how old it was. I knew that not Red Faction, 7 Days to Die started off jank. So it's that I slept through the ending. You didn't miss much. We shot down a giant spaceship. So that was pretty cool. But 7 Days to Die may be more engaging now. But at the when this version rather, you would have to play with friends in order to have any lasting fun. I ran out of steam for that game a half an hour in. That was a 4-hour stream. I was running on fumes trying to do anything that entire fucking time. And I could feel it, and I think the people that were watching could feel it too. So while it was fun to go back and look at early versions of that game, I was obsessed with this in 2017, by the way. That stream itself fucking sucked. Starfield! Bethesda's greatest flop. Not counting 76, not proper Bethesda. This is an actual Bethesda game. Is at least a C. I'd say it'd be a C. If it had been an hour-long stream, it would have been a C. The fact that it's 4 hours, nah. Starfield. I enjoy. I liked it. I am just so disappointed that I feel no drive to go back to it. So bad that I felt that Starfield would have been a flop. I had the same feeling about TS6. I'm worried after Starfield. I'm worried about the future of Elder Scrolls. At this point, I'm almost like leave it to the ESO team. Let them do their thing. Like, it's not Morrowind, but ESO ain't bad. I'd rather have a game that's not bad than the Elder Scrolls 6 kill it. There is a lot to like about Starfield. Styrofoam cups taste good. They also smell good when you melt them. Don't sniff it in though, you'll die. I am probably in the I know I'm in the minority for actually enjoying the planets. I am one of those psychos that liked No Man's Sky before it had the big turnaround comeback. I like wandering around in big open areas and just walking. I actually really like the level up mechanics too. I think if they were to iterate on Starfield's level up mechanics and flavor it a little, like change the flavor, I feel like the way Starfield handles leveling up and the perks and all that and the skills is probably the best way and the best possible thing we could get for Elder Scrolls 6. Because it's simply better than what 4 had. Fallout 4's perk system was pretty bad. Fallout 4, not Elder Scrolls 4, Fallout 4. And I feel like Starfield is a great iteration on that. Actually improved it quite a bit. And I feel like it would fit Elder Scrolls. However, while I personally enjoyed it, I don't feel like the exploration was very fun to watch. Some of the narrative was a bit fun, but this is probably because I was rushing it. This is my favorite, just as an aside, this is my favorite, Animal Crossing song, by the way. I feel like if I wasn't rushing it, if I'd taken, like, my time and played, like, put in, like, the hours that I'd put in, like, Fallout in the back in the day into the game, into experiencing all the side content, because that's where I hear Starfield shines, is in, like, its side quests. I feel like I would have enjoyed it a lot more. But as it stands, Starfield is a pretty solid C. Speaking of stars, Starwind. Another game that I streamed back on Twitch. This is a full conversion for Morrowind that turns it into an Old Republic Star Wars game. It is a labor of love, for the most part. And it is fucking phenomenal. I want to stream Starwind again on this channel. And I'm currently waiting for the next update. And then I might. But that game is so much fun. It is horribly jank because it's made by like 4 people. It started with 1 dude and then they got like a couple extra people. But it is just so much fun. And it is probably the only Star Wars RPG you're ever going to get at this point. While no one really watched it because it was over on Twitch and no one watched me on Twitch, no one cared before I put on the YouTuber tag. I'd say those Starwind streams as Bang Bang Booms, the Gungan Bounty Hunter, were very fun. Suika Game! The world sensation. This game was everywhere. It conquered the fucking world. Everyone was playing it. It was the streamer game for about a week. And then I played it a month afterwards. Because I always play everything late. Because I'm playing catch up with everything. I missed this game. It was the middle of the night in like November and once in December. I like Suika Game. I played it for like 5 hours straight on my own. Never heard of it. Oh, you get like different fruits and you have to like stack them up in a tube. And like if you get 2 fruits of the same type together, they combine into a bigger fruit. And you have to try and get all the way up to a watermelon. And you have to see how many fruits you can get before it gets to the top of the tube. It's a lot of fun. Really hard. Surprisingly difficult, but a lot of fun. I feel like the second stream of it wasn't as good, but the first stream of Suika Game, I feel, was quite entertaining. The second one, whatever. I'd put that down in C, but the first one I'd put up in B. Suika Game is fun. The Swine. the second horror game that we played in October. Another, like, one-man team horror game. This game is weird. Because maybe I'm just out of the loop, but it felt higher quality, like it was trying to be higher quality than it really was. Like, it was a solid game. The narrative was pretty, like, feels really derivative of old horror movies, but that's fine. Not much in the way of mechanics. Not really any puzzles. It is a walking sim, and I'm okay with that. I like walking simulator games. I actually liked Amnesia: Machine for Pigs. But I don't know. I feel like it moved a little too fast. However, I would like to apologize for a insinuation that I made about the use of a certain symbol. It turns out hexagons are very common in occultism. That is what the game was trying to use. It wasn't being sneakily racist. And I would like to apologize. My bad. Just in the current political environment, little hypersensitive to that type of thing. But the stream was meh. What? Oh, the game used hexagons, the six-pointed stars, as like the symbol of the bad, like the people that are invading your house, like the demon worshippers that are like invading your home. And I was like, that's a little suspicious because of some historical parallels that can be drawn with the way that people treated, I'm gonna come out and say it, the way that people treated Jews in the Middle Ages and to some extent the modern age, with like blood libel shit, accusations of human sacrifice, kidnapping, and shit like that. I thought it was very close to that type of thing. Those are really common in occultism, yes. And while that might be a little bit weird on its own, I don't think the creator of this game had any ill intent. I think they were just using it for the occultic purposes. They weren't insinuating anything. So I would like to apologize. I'm going to play more of their games. Tiny Echo. I think the only point-and-click adventure game I've played since like 2020. I played Don't Escape 4, which I need to go back and replay because I never did the second ending. That game is... Tiny Echo is peak relaxation. It is the comfiest game I've played this year. And while it is really relaxing, it's really good if you just want to chill. That is the dual-sided effect of making it really hard to make fun, to have like any fun. Like, it's really hard to make jokes about it during that game because it's just so relaxing. There's not a lot to make fun of. So the game is fantastic, but I feel like the stream, it's okay. I'll put it below Gorilla, I think. Victoria 3. Now, this is split into two things. One, the USA playthrough we did in August and before, and like July. And the Sweden playthrough we did in December. Now, the America playthrough, the USA playthrough, was fine. It was fun. And I quite enjoyed it, and I feel like the people that were there enjoyed watching it. Even if, like random, they were pretty confused, I feel like it was fun to watch. It was pretty dynamic. There was a lot happening. There was a lot to react to. A lot of goofy shit happened. It was fun. However, I'd put that in a B. However, the Sweden playthrough in December, where I just did nothing and just tried to build up my economy politically and like diplomatically and peacefully, like peaceful Sweden. I decolonized everything except Iceland or Greenland. And other than like little bits here and there, I was so miserable for most of that playthrough because of shit that was happening. I'm still trying to figure out the current patch. I like the way the game is going. I am too small brained to be able to comprehend. I'm always confused. Bro, same. I would put the Sweden playthrough in D, and as a result, I will even it out, and Victoria 3 goes in C. The USA playthrough, fine. The Sweden playthrough, don't bother. White Day! This game, I did not expect to like nearly as much as I did. That game actually scared me at points. I spent like the first 2.5 streams terrified. I was jumpy. I was legitimately panicky. And I was on edge for like most of it. The puzzles, for the most part, were really fun to figure out, pretty engaging. I will say that after you spend a little bit of time in the new building, the big open white area, the game takes a dip pretty hard. That last, like, fourth of the game was very momentum killing. While I will say the first part of, like, the first, like, two-thirds of the game are fantastic, the end kind of flopped. Now, I am going to play this game again in March, I think. March or maybe May, I don't know. On White Day, I'm going to play it again, and I'm going to do the second character. We're going to go do the secret character, the character that was on all of the stream thumbnails, that girl, so we can finally learn who she is. So we'll get another experience, see if the other half of the game is better. But I will put it at a low B, because that last half of the game ruined the momentum that the rest of the game had. And now, we have 3 games that I streamed on Twitch, 2 of which made it over here to the YouTube re-uploads. Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, Randomizer. Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, Randomizer. And The Legend of Zelda Sealed Palace. The Majora's Mask Randomizer was a ton of fun for me. This was over on Twitch, so not a lot of people watched it, but more people were there than for most of the streams over there. So I feel like people also enjoyed it. Majora's Mask is... Tears of the Kingdom, I think, has become my favorite Zelda game, but Majora's Mask is like my classical favorite. If I had to play like one for comfort, if I had to play a Zelda game for comfort, it'd be Majora's Mask. I think Tears of the Kingdom is better. But being able to see this game that I grew up with and having to explore it in a different way was a ton of fun. I would say the Majora's Mask randomizer is a good B. Now, the Ocarina of Time randomizer. I technically played more Ocarina of Time growing up than I did Majora's Mask, but I didn't get nearly as far in the game. and I wasn't nearly as familiar with it as I was with Majora's Mask. And I made some very dumb decisions on the generation of the randomizer. In this game, there are 100 collectibles, hidden collectibles that you can find, optional. And there's an option to randomize into them all of the important items that you need. So, quest and game progress important items can be locked in hidden areas that I don't know about. I spent like a stream and a half trying to find an item that would allow me to beat the second dungeon in the game. It was awful. While I enjoyed playing it, and I would like to replay an Ocarina of Time randomizer, maybe as like an evening, like late night stream, this particular playthrough, on top of the boots, iron boots were locked behind Poe hunting, which, if you don't know, is a thing where you have to go out into the field and shoot 10 giant Poes. The problem is they move super fast and they can clip through objects and they are hard to get. I spent 2 hours alone trying to get that just for the boots. A miserable experience, which I did not do on stream. That randomizer is a C. Or even a fucking D. No fun. There's a reason it didn't make it over here to YouTube when I re-uploaded everything. And the final game, Legend of Zelda: The Sealed Palace. A ROM hack for Ocarina of Time, which makes it a basically entirely new game. A lot of work went into this. An entirely new world, revamped dungeons. It's the same basic format of the dungeons, but it's like new dungeons. Like it's the same like shadow dungeon, water dungeon, fire dungeon, but completely redone. And I think I said it while I was streaming it, or when I got near the end. Playing Sealed Palace feels like if you got drunk one day and played through all of Ocarina of Time in one sitting, playing Sealed Palace is like if that was your experience playing Ocarina of Time, getting super drunk and playing through all of it in one sitting. Playing Sealed Palace is like going back and then playing Ocarina of Time a week later, where things feel kind of similar, but you have no clue what's happening. My biggest complaints of Sealed Palace were a hidden item that you needed to progress, and a really dumb way to get into a dungeon where you had to dive into a lake or like into a well that suddenly became open water, like open air underneath, and you'd fall off to the side and you'd get into the rest of the dungeon. But there's nothing that I could find indicated that. If it was not for that, I think that would be a B, but those things considered, Sealed Palace is a C. C for Sealed Palace. And with that, we have, in my opinion, my objective opinion, the tier list of every game that I streamed in 2023. Woo! Already? We've been here for an hour and a half. What do you mean already? It was only 43 games. I was expecting it to take less time. What a walk down memory lane. Maybe we'll do this again next year. I can't wait for it to be, you know, 4 hours, because at the rate that I'm currently streaming, I'm going to have way more games to add to this. I feel like time is moving too fast. Time flies when I'm being boring. Or when you're having fun. Either way. Now, I am going to go eat supper. We'll be back in like 45 minutes to an hour maybe. And we're going to rush through the rest of Armageddon. We're about halfway through that game. I should be able to beat it in a single sitting again. And at that point, I'll decide whether or not to do an evening stream. For now, though, I hope you guys all enjoyed this. I hope you had a good time last year. And I'm looking forward to continuing and playing even more games this year. I'd like to put in more hours. I start putting in more hours. But y'all have a good night, and I'll see y'all if you come, if you're interested. If you come in 45 minutes. I'll see y'all later. Oh.